fellow pen enthusiasts. So I've got a new pen news video for you, and I'm going to talk about a few different pens. A couple, really one of them is brand new, just released within the last few days. So this one, we'll see what type of excitement this specific pen, and it'll be the first one that I share. And then I also have some pen related things to share. Before I jump into the video, I definitely want to, I've had some questions in the past about when I share different sellers, if I am receiving any type of promotions or kickback from those sellers. And to be completely honest, no, I am not. So just for transparency purposes, I don't receive any payment or any type of goods. Most of these sellers probably don't even have any clue that I'm promoting them. So just bear that in mind. These are 100% my own thoughts and opinions, and I'm just sharing them with you, so maybe to kind of give you some other options out there to try different types of pen related things. So the first pen that I'm going to pop up on the screen right now is the Moonman T2 fountain pen. So we just had the T1 released, I think very end of 2019. So it hasn't been very long since the T1 was released. And this pen has some minor similarities, as you can tell. It's got it's an aluminum base pen, or a metal base pen, kind of similar to the T1 as far as some of the facets go. But it's also very much so different. Now, a little bit of information on the T2 so far. The first seller that I saw that had it up was Easy Buy on their Etsy and eBay store. There's two colors available currently, which you see on here. So there's a brown and a silver color available. The pen seems to be pretty consistent so far. I think there's maybe a couple more sellers that have released it, but it's around $30 if you get it with the box. Now you can order it with just the pen, no box that comes along with it, but I generally always order it with the box for two reasons. You can see what the box is like, but really the main reason is just to help protect the pen during shipping. That price is going to be around, again, $30, so $29.99 with the pen box. The total length of the pen is around 140 millimeters. The diameter is 14 millimeters, and the weight is a whopping 51.8 grams, so about 52 grams on the weight. Now, this pen, from a sizing perspective, is kind of somewhat similar to that of like a Jinhao 159, just from the weight perspective, and I think the length as well. Not probably from a diameter perspective, but I definitely think from a weight perspective it's going to be on the heavier side, clearly. Now, just the initial thought and impression when I first saw this pen, I think it's really it's somewhat of a unique design. And now, if any of you out there, I know Moonman is kind of becoming well known for mimicking other pen designs. If any of you out there know of a pen design or manufacturer that has a pen very, very similar to this, definitely let us know in the comments section. It would be interesting to kind of compare. One thing that I really like is, so you see the metal on the pen, but then you see that really attractive ink window. So, depending on what type of ink you want to put in that pen, it really kind of, I think, really will pop in that ink window. So I think that's really interesting. Moving on to pick number 2, this is just kind of showing the brown pen by itself. Again, you can definitely see we've got those silver facets on both ends, nice silver clip. I like the color choice that they went with this specific pen. And then we'll move to pick 3. Pick 3, not only does it show the silver color as well, but you can also tell that you're going to get a Moonman proprietary nib with this, and it's a number 6 size nib. So again, great to see that, obviously. The one thing that I do want to call out in this image, and probably my only concern with this pen, is the section specifically. I'm not generally a huge fan of metal sections. Almost every single pen that I've ever owned that has a metal section, I have generally used for a period of time and then discontinued use of that pen after that. Generally, as oil builds up on your fingers, that section can kind of become slippery, and it's somewhat of an annoyance when you're using it during long writing sessions. Now, one of the few pins that I have enjoyed is the Pen BBS 323 in their aluminum finish, because that section has some texture to it. Now, I don't think that's enough for me to, well, it's not enough to deter me from purchasing this pen, because I've already purchased one. I actually purchased the silver color. So I'm going to give this section a shot and just see how it performs. Now, moving on to pick number 4. Here again is something that I think makes this pen very unique and very interesting. We're seeing a TWSBI Go style filler. So this is kind of their own take on that filling system. It is very similar to that of the TWSBI. You've got a spring-loaded filler. Obviously, Pen BBS, they have kind of their own iteration of it, which is very much so different though. Not the first Chinese pen that we've seen with this type of filling system necessarily, but I really am excited to see how this one performs. I kind of like the fact that they went with some different metal facets here. Hopefully it will have good longevity. You can see that you have that metal spring. It looks as though that spring is removable, hopefully probably to make the pen easier to clean, and it looks like probably that back end of the rod unscrews to allow you to remove some of the components to the pen. So again, really exciting for the filling system. It looks like it's actually going to hold a decent amount of ink as well. So where it's not going to be like an eyedropper type capacity, I think with the fact that it has a decent amount of ink, it looks like it's going to be very simplistic to fill. Hopefully easy to clean as well. That will make it easier to switch out inks as you want to. So I think that's another thing. One of the reasons I went with the silver pen was because I felt like I could use really just about any type of ink color with that. Moving on to pick number 5. This one I just wanted to show kind of a close-up of the section. Again, we see that metal section. We see that gorgeous Moonman nib. You kind of can see some of the threads there as well, just to kind of give you some visual presentations. Be interesting to see what type of cap liner they use in this pen. Hopefully it gives a nice seal to it as well. And also interesting to see how, again, the section performs, as well as the threads. So when I get the pen, it will be nice to see how all of those type of things perform together. Now, the last image I have is really just showing the packaging that you'll get with the pen. So it looks like they're going back a little bit to some of the original Moonman packaging, which I have. This is not the same cover sleeve, but you're probably obviously going to be getting this type of package when you receive the pen, which I have no issue with. It performs, it works well. I personally, at some point, I'm going to probably have to purge all these pin boxes that I have. I have a lot, as most of you that have probably been collecting for a long time. But my main purpose with it is also to kind of help protect the pen as well during the shipping process. So again, this pen is retailing for just under $30. I think you're getting a metal pen. It's gonna have a really nice weight to it. If you're someone that likes a hefty pen, this could be a really good option for you. Not necessarily a unique filling system, but a definitely different than what a cartridge converter filling system. It's going to be different than that. I think it's going to have some interesting components to it, and potentially could be a very cool pen. So definitely check it out. There are more sellers that have it available. As I stated before, the first seller was EasyBuy. I purchased my pen from EasyBuy. I purchased several pens from that specific seller, and every time I purchase, they are generally a little bit more expensive than most sellers. You can generally find a better deal, but I can be honest with you, I've never had an issue with them. Their shipping process is generally very fast, and in addition to that, some of those other sellers I purchased from that sell their pens at a cheaper rate, I have had some quality issues as well as some shipping issues, not receiving the right item. All right, so moving on to our next pen, and I do want to be honest, as of right now, this pen is available, but by the time I get this video uploaded, who knows, it might not be available. But Moonman M8, that has been a pretty popular pen. I mean, you can go on Instagram and just see tons of images of the M8, comparing it to other Radiant styled pens that are much higher dollar, and you could argue quality, but I mean, I think the M8 has a solid quality. I've enjoyed my M8 since I've received it. I just recently cleaned it out, and have discontinued use of it temporarily because I'm using other pens. But the mixed color in the green, so we have a mixed color green, I have the image popped up now, is available on Easy Buy's Etsy store. Now it is $45 though for the pen, but it's the only mixed color I could find. So I guess if you have the option, you can charge that price. I know generally you can get these pens for cheaper than that, but it's $45. And the other reason why I'm sharing this is because, number one, it's available. So if you have been someone that maybe missed out initially on that mixed color release, this might give you the option of purchasing this pen. You're going to pay a little bit more for it, of course, but you'll have the option of now owning this pen as well. Now this again is in the green color. I think it's very pretty though. All of those different colors and everything throughout that pen, they really pop on that dark background, and I think it would be a very attractive pen. I don't know if I'm willing to pay $45 for the pen. While I love my M8 and I think this would be a great looking pen to add to my collection, I'm not quite sold on the idea of spending $45. That's just for me personally, but maybe one of you out there would be willing to spend that on the pen. So moving on to our next image, and before I pop it up, this one I think is pretty exciting, and some of you that are on social media a lot already know about this more than likely, or if you're just constantly looking for pens. But the Pen BBS 492 is now officially on the Pen BBS official store. So it's launched as a pre-order as of right now, as I'm shooting this video. Now by the time I get it uploaded, it could be available. But I think it's really awesome that it's been made available now on the Etsy store. So obviously we'll be getting the pen on Etsy. And the other neat thing is, from what I've read, we're going to be eventually seeing this pen in different colors as well. So we're going to hopefully see this pen in some of those beautiful Pen BBS acrylics, and I think that will definitely really, similar to that of the 355, the 456, that will really just be an awesome selling point. So if this specific design, if you're not a huge fan of that just regular clear acrylic, there are going to be more colors coming out at some point, so if you want to hold off and wait to purchase, you're going to have hopefully some other opportunities. The pen is on there right now for $61. I didn't write it down, of course, but I think it's $61 on there. So not a bad price. When I think back, and someone can correct me in the comment section, I feel like the Pen BBS 355 was around that price when it was initially offered through the Etsy store as well as eBay. Now the price has gone down over time, and the Pen BBS 456, depending upon I think what acrylic you got, was also a pretty hefty price point as well initially, and then that price has gone down over time as well. So I think this one, it'll be interesting to see how that price works. It'll also be interesting to see if at some point other sellers have the pen available and what those price points are at. I think $61 for the pen that you're getting is, from my perspective, is a good price. I paid more than that. I think there's other people out there that paid more than that. I know there's some of you that even got a better deal than $61. So I mean, it just, I think it depends upon when you bought the pen and how you bought it potentially. But still very exciting. It's really cool that now we're seeing it on there. It's great that it wasn't just only a limited release. And I'll be excited to see it being offered in other acrylic models and see what all they offer it in, because that would be just amazing to see. All right, so that ends it for the pen so far. So now, as I stated before, we have some pen related things, and so I've been trying to figure out some other stuff to share with all of you that are like such as things as pen cases, pen holders, paper books, different things like that. And it's amazing how many sellers are on Etsy and are able to offer different pen related items. Now, if you're someone that cannot purchase off of Etsy based off of your location, I am sorry for that. However, I do want to share this because I think some of these sellers have some really interesting, good products. The first one image I'm going to pop up is of a pen case, and this is in, as you can tell, it's kind of in a really nice, almost like tweed type material. But this is an Etsy shop called LifeCovers. They are based out of the UK, and all of their double and triple pen cases are all sold for under $30. So I think you know, you can definitely tell in this first image that you're going to get a really nice high quality pen case. It's going to probably do a very good job protecting your pens, and I like the fact that you don't have a lot of elastic pieces there that you're putting the pins in and out of, so it's, you know, you're going to have a lot less of an opportunity to scratch the pins as well. And these pen cases are offered in different colors as well. So moving on to image number 2, just kind of showing the case closed. So you see there is an elastic band on the outside to allow that flap to kind of lock into place. Kind of lets you see some of the quality of the product that you would potentially be receiving. I think for under $30, it's a pretty nice looking pen case. Moving on to image number 3, I had to share these. I think these are very, you know, these are pretty cute and attractive looking pen cases, depending upon just seeing that there's not just 1 or 2 colors. So here we have one in kind of a teal finish. And then moving on to pick number 4. This one, it looks like, you know, kind of like a lavender color here. So again, a nice, and you've got some different color textures, so you have some pattern there. And then this one's probably my favorite, image number 5. This one right here is probably my favorite pen case that I saw. They have a multitude of other colors though on their website. So again, that's Etsy. That's the name for the seller is LifeCovers. I will put in the description down below all of these sellers that I'm going to share today. I will put a link to their shop so you can check them out. You know, you can have some interactions with them. I did, before I shared any of these sellers, I went through a lot of their reviews. This specific seller has a lot of really good reviews from different people. If you happen to be someone that's already purchased one of these pen cases, definitely comment down below how you enjoy, if you've enjoyed your pen case. They also sell other products on their site as well. They sell, I think they had wallets on there. They had different type of zipper cases as well. So they have other type of items that you can purchase too that can also kind of play a role into, you know, keeping some of your pen related things safe, so to speak. All right, so moving on to our next seller, and pop our first image up on the screen. And this is ClarkWoodshop. And this is a seller based out of Ohio. And this person makes pen holders that are all under $25. So they also make a lot of other wood related items as well. So there's some pretty cool stuff on their shop that I would be very interested in. They have some wine holders as well, just some really cool stuff. So here we see an image of a single pen holder made out of some very attractive, looks like maple wood to me. I could be totally wrong. I'm definitely not an expert on that. Pick number 2, we actually see some walnut, so I'm assuming that one before was walnut. Shows how much I actually know about wood in general. Very, very pretty though. And then here we see in image number 2, there's maple. So that one you can definitely tell is maple wood. I like how the pieces are kind of fused together and the look that they make as far as a pattern for it. I think that is really cool. When I was scrolling through, I don't even know how I came across this one. I don't think was looking for pen holders. I was looking for pen cases, but this one I think it just popped up. And I may have just honestly been looking at fountain pens and this one popped up. And I thought these would be really cool to share with everyone. Here we see cherry wood. This one is probably my favorite. It would be either the walnut or this one. I really like this wood. It's very, very pretty. Again, all of these are for under $25 on these, at least these single pen holders. So if you have a pen that you just absolutely love, maybe you have a vintage pen that you just want to display on your desk, whether it be at work or it be at home, or you've kind of got your grail pen, so to speak, and you just want to kind of show it off on your desk, this would be something really kind of cool to look at. I don't know this for a fact, but it might even be an option. You know, I know different pens, you're going to have different dimensions and girths to reach out to the seller and give that person the dimensions of your pen and see if they can make you a specific pen holder to kind of meet that aspect. Now here we see on this image we have a plywood type material, and I think again that's still kind of really cool. And some of these, again, these are all under $25, so they're not going to all be $25. They're under $25, so they're going to be a range in prices. So it just gives you the option to kind of check them out. Then image number 6, this one is really neat. So for those of you that are kind of tech savvy, or just, you know, generally if you're like maybe working on something in your office and you want to have someplace to hold your phone, but you also want someplace to display your pens so you can actually be switching back and forth. Here we have a pretty interesting 3-pen holder that also can act as a cell phone holder, or even possibly a tablet holder as well. So I thought this was kind of a cool image. Pick number 7 is going to kind of just show you what all of those different materials are. And so again, very attractive looking pen holders. And as I stated before, these are just 7 images that give you an idea of some of their offerings on their site. And so definitely check them out. Again, that is ClarkWoodshop. They're located in Burton, Ohio, and all their pen holders are under $25. And again, if you have already tried out some of these pen holders, you've purchased some items from this specific seller, please comment down below. So all of us know like kind of how you like your items and how they perform. Their reviews again are very solid. They offer other different types of things on their site as well. So there might be some other stuff on there that could possibly interest you also. Now, moving on to our last and final seller on here, and our last and final topic, and that is around notebooks. So something I really have never really talked about a lot. I've shared kind of my thoughts and opinions on different types of paper that I enjoy using. One of my favorite types of paper is Tomo River. And I don't use it as often. Tomo River notebooks are generally a little bit more expensive. But I do like the sheen and different things that you can get with the fountain pen ink. It always looks different when you use Tomo River paper, and that's what I enjoy about it. But there's a seller located out of Texas, Sugar Land, Texas to be exact, called PaperPenguinCo, or Paper Penguin Company. And the cool thing is this seller has a multitude of different options when it comes to notebooks. I think that's the most awesome thing. So the first image I'm popping up, here we see a 160-page cream Tomo River paper. Now, this seller offers Tomo River paper for around $10 to $16, depending upon what size of notebook you get, in their 160-page book option. There are also 80-page book options as well for $5 to $10 as well, again, depending upon what size that you get. Now, most of these notebooks are the ones that you would be using in like a Midori type platform, where this can be a replacement to refill that up. I generally will just buy these little notebooks just to use. I think they're perfect. You can sometimes, you can easily slide them in and out of a pocket. You can get those little micro books. So if you're someone that likes to go out, and maybe you're going on a hike and you just want to kind of, maybe you're an artist and you just want to have something you can just simply pull out of your pocket really fast and sketch or draw something, this would be an option for you. Image number 2 kind of gives you an idea of what the texture and the book itself looks like. For those of you that purchase books like this, you probably already know exactly what it's going to be like. I think it's really cool because this person, not only are they a small business, but they do all of this themselves. They make these books themselves. And I think that's really the cool thing about it. Image number 3 is just kind of giving you an idea of the different types of paper that you can get, as far as you can get it blank, you can get it lined, you can get dots, you can also get a grid format as well. So again, it gives you kind of the option of knowing what different types you can get. So sizes for these books go all the way down to like a mini / micro size, that what I would call a pocket size, all the way up to extra wide A5 notebooks. And there's literally I swear there's probably about 10 different choices on there. You can get a passport size. You can get all sorts of different types of sizes on these notebooks. So I think that's another really cool thing. The seller did state as of right now they are not taking custom orders, but if you do have questions, to contact them specifically and they'll do their best to work with you. The other cool thing is they also offer other paper textures. So if you're not a big fan of Tomoe River, they have Strathmore onion skin, which I've never used onion skin paper. So if anybody has, please comment down below on how that performs. And they also have other colors of paper. So if you're someone that wants different colors, which I'll have some images of those coming up. Another cool thing is they offer different types of options. So you have a calendar option, for instance. So here we see an image of a 2020 calendar. So you can get, again, some nice notebook type or nice Tomoe River type paper, and you can have a really nice calendar to utilize throughout the year. And then here's an image of kind of an example of the different colors of paper. So here's a blue one, and there was a multitude of different colors. So do understand that. I'm only going to share a couple different ones. But here's an image of a blue background. And of course, there's other ones on there. I saw a black one. I saw green. I think there was a red one I saw. So you have different options on there as well. So we already saw the calendar. They also have checkbook insert. So here would be an image of the checkbook insert. I chose the green color on this just again to show a different color texture or color image on there. But of course you can get in just the regular white image if you wanted to. And then we'll move on. So pick number 7 is going to be kind of like a planner, so to speak. So here we see like a week planner for you. So again, you can kind of plan out your weeks. And there's so many different calendar options that this seller has. There's different planner options. There's just all sorts of stuff on there. Their average turnaround for their notebooks is about 5 to 10 business days. So do understand that when you purchase any goods from them, you're going to be waiting about 5 to 10 business days for those items, and then it will be shipped to you from that point. So there is going to be a wait period as well. So just bear that in mind if you order from this specific seller. Now, again, one of the first things I looked at is just looked at to see what other people are saying about this seller through reviews and different things. So I have some images up here associated with those reviews, which I thought would be nice to share. So here we see a picture of someone using one of the notebooks. Here we can see them just kind of showing off how the ink looks and how it performs, what the notebook looks like. And this person gave a very good review for this seller as well. And then the next pick, again, is just kind of showing their notebook, and again, another really good review on this seller. And just again, kind of give you an idea of someone using the notebook. And then this is my last image that I have. This is just someone, they gave, again, another really nice review of the seller as well, and said how much they enjoy their notebooks. They have ordered several of them. I would say probably the only criticism that I got from any of the reviews was just the turnaround time being 5 to 10 business days. I think as long as you understand that going into it when you purchase this, that it's going to take that length of time, I don't think there should be any problem. And even that person still gave them a 5-star review. They just said the only concern was having to wait for it the length of time that they did. But they did state that from the moment the seller had let them know that it was shipped, it took like a couple days to get to their front door. So the shipping time should be fine. And again, that's going to be dependent upon where you live. Now, if you're outside of the U.S., I did not see that they will not ship internationally on their site, and I'll double check that before, and I'll put underneath if that is the case that they won't ship internationally. But if just FYI, there is some other sellers that had some paper products. There's tons of them on Etsy. This one was one of the ones that just popped up because of the different type of items that they offer. So again, check them out. Link will be in the description. That is all I have for this video. We're just under 30 minutes right now. So the last thing that I'm going to finish with is all of you out there. I know everyone is, this has been a very tough time for everyone. I do want to thank all of you, if you have a friend or family member, or if you are one of these people, all of you first responders, all of you nurses, all of you doctors out there, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, you people are amazing. What you're doing right now, putting your own health at risk to help the rest of us and keep us safe and as healthy as possible. Thank you for everything that you do. I have family members that are nurses and doctors. My sister is actually a nurse. So the fact that they go to work every day and don't question it, I don't know if I could do that. I do have to go to work every day, but I'm not knowingly putting myself in harm's way potentially. So thank you, all of you out there. Everyone, please be safe, be responsible. Don't just think of your own self and your own health. Think of other people's as well. If you can, stay home. Stay home, enjoy your fountain pens, enjoy doing things at home with your family, and social distance as much as possible. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.